Okay, and we are live with HESN Live. We're at Millennium Field. My name's Jesse Card, and I'm joined, had the pleasure of being joined here with Mike Rouleau.
Thanks, Jesse. Thanks for having me.
We'll get you in the shot here.
We're live right now, eh?
And we've got quite a game. As I'm walking up to the booth, I ran into Mike Hendricks, who the people know is a coach here in Ottawa, has been a coach for the Panthers, OVFL and OPFL teams for many years.
With and NCAFA. I coach with Mike at Tyke and Mosquito, and Mike used to coach at Ottawa U as well, so a very experienced coach.
And as I'm walking up, he says to me, I've never seen a Mosquito game hyped up so much in my time in Ottawa. And that's what we have in store for everyone watching online. We've got a pretty full house here. People are starting to and still flooding into the game. And what do we have in store here, Mike? We've got two undefeated teams and a very critical point in the end of the season.
Yeah, both teams have only a couple games left. This is going to position one of them probably atop the standings going into the playoffs. You've got a team in Nepean who looks like, and from all accounts, throw the ball around the field a lot, and the Cumberland Panthers who haven't let up a point yet. So not just Eagles offense against Panthers defense. It's going to be, the other sides of the ball are going to be important as well. But I think we're in for a really impressive showing from all these kids.
Well, I agree with you. I think this is probably my most, the level of football that I enjoy the most. Certainly when you get two of the top teams in this division, you can really start to see these players develop a love for the game, and really it becomes more like real football at this level. They start, like you mentioned, passing the ball, the techniques of which hand to carry the ball, and all that stuff's on display here tonight.
Yeah, and you're going to see a lot of system stuff like you're talking about. It's not just going to be dive right, dive left. The fans are in for a treat. You got, watching the warm-ups, I saw the Eagles running some spread concepts. I know Coach Schmidt, and he loves running a 30 front defense, so a lot of weird blitzes. I know the Panthers, the first thing to look for, when the first time the Eagles punt, the Panthers love running a wall right on punt return, and that's something to keep an eye on. So there's going to be a lot of really cool stuff for people who are watching to check out and be really impressed with all these kids and how athletic they are, how experienced they are, and how good this football is.
So, Mike, you've coached some of these kids at the Tyke level. This is definitely the big stage for them. They've got the prime time Wednesday night spot. There's only one other game going on in the city tonight. That's a Bantam game in Canada.
And you guys aren't there.
We are. Tyler's there.
Oh, nice.
So
big coverage tonight for HESN.
We got coverage because that's another good one. Those are two top teams with Canada, I think, only with one loss, and Myers, I think, is undefeated at this point at Bantam. So that's going on. But, I mean, this is really the main event in Ottawa for football. It's right here tonight. I talked to a few of the players on both sides, and it seemed like there was a little bit of nerves.
I would assume so. I mean, they know what's at stake. These kids have been around. The Panthers won the A-Cup last year at Mosquito, and from everything we've been told by their coaching staff, the Eagles had a very successful Tyke program last year, and these kids know what it's about. The captains are getting ready, and they know. They know. The coaches don't have to say a lot at this point of the season. They know that they're both 5-0, and that in the next couple of weeks, they're going to be the ones on top of the standings if they win tonight.
So Jesse Card here with HSN Live, joined with Mike Rouleau, and we are going to take you to the kickoff coming up next. For now, we're going to go and take a short break. All of those joining us online, help support football by sharing the link on Facebook on your personal profile and tagging anyone that might be interested in watching this big Mosquito NCAFA action game we have here at Millennium Field. All right, welcome back. We've got the opening kickoffs just minutes away, and we've got a good one for you. For those of you joining us online right now, thank you. And you can do your part by supporting this game and promoting it by sharing this link, tagging somebody you know, and talking about how great it is seeing these aged Mosquito kids, which is the 10 and 11-year-olds, competing in football here, and this is a big one. Two undefeated teams, one from the west end of the city, one from the east. I'm Jesse Card here, joined tonight with Mike Rouleau.
Thanks again, Jesse, for having me.
So the Panthers will be kicking off. Eagles set to receive. And we're going to see this offense for the first time. I haven't had a chance to see this Mosquito Eagles team yet this year, but I've heard nothing but positive things about how good they are executing. And the whistle has gone. Panthers will kick off. And here we go. Kickoff is covered and then downed easily and well covered by number 11 of the Nepean Eagles. That is Thomas St. Laurent.
You know that these coaches have also been scouting each other. The Eagles weren't any more than 15 yards away from that kickoff. They knew what was coming.
So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Nepean Eagles. Under center. That's Reed Prevost, who hands off up the middle and maybe about 5 or 6 yards on the first play from scrimmage for the Nepean Eagles.
Big hole on the right side. Those are some big boys on the O-line for Nepean.
So Reed Prevost is the quarterback for the Nepean Eagles. He's a defensive player. He played defense in Tyke. He's moved up to Mosquito, and now he's playing quarterback.
Yeah, his first year playing quarterback.
But the game isn't too big for him. He's under center again, 2nd down, and a quick pass on a wide receiver screen. It looks like they were trying to set up. It goes incomplete.
That was Parker, number 2, the cornerback on the left side, on the boundary side here for the Panthers. He saw that all day. He knew it was coming.
He was certainly ready for that one, Mike, and very disciplined in his approach on the corner. Sometimes you're out on the island at the corner, and it can be a lonely place, but he stands up good, and it will be a 3rd down punting situation for the Eagles.
So remember what I said before we started this game.
That's right. You want to probably keep that out of the hands of Perron, because he already has 2 touchdowns from punt returns for his team, and he's always dangerous with the ball in his hands.
And you could see it. They were setting it up. The receiver, it was a short kick. They had that set up. He wanted to go all right, but with it only being a 10-yard kick, he wasn't able to set that up.
So the Panthers will have 1st and 10, and we get to see this high-powered offense the Panthers have.
Yeah, it's being run by Tristan at quarterback, 3-headed monster in the backfield, Tristan and Shiloh and Marvin, 3 kids that I got the pleasure of coaching a couple years ago.
Well, we've seen Shiloh in the games this year. It's an I formation, and they hand it off, and that is absolutely stuffed and sniffed out by the Eagles defense. These 2 teams ranked in the HESN power rankings 1 and 2, Cumberland 1, Nepean 2. And this is just a heavyweight bout we're seeing.
I think these coaches are just feeling each other out. There's a lot of experience on both staffs. The Eagles have a couple ex-Sooner players, and the Panthers have a lot of experience coaching years in the city, not just with the Panthers, but at other levels. So just give them some time. They're going to figure each other out.
That's Shiloh off the far side on a sweep that also goes nowhere. That's going to set up probably they're back to the original line of scrimmage with that, but it's going to bring up 3rd down and a punting situation for the Cumberland Panthers.
I know talking to Coach Schmidt, he just wasn't quite sure, and Coach Perron, Eric Perron, who's the offensive coordinator of the Panthers, they just weren't sure about what to expect from the Eagles defense. And in the first series, this is going to be a good match.
Definitely looks to be an even match. We got 2 onside players on this punt, so just keep an eye on that. A nice punt at that, and it's fielded well, but it's immediately tackled and wrapped up by a Panthers defender. That's number 21 on the Cumberland Panthers, making the tackle there.
Yeah, Isaiah Wallace had great contain, went down, ran right by his gunner, and was able to make that tackle. at this age, those kind of things in terms of he even let 5 yards, gave him 5 yards and didn't get a no yards penalty. So, at this age, when you're talking about this age of kids, these little details are really important to who's going to win and lose this game.
Well, as you mentioned, definitely two well-coached teams. Nepean with the first down. They're going to go to pass, and he fires over the middle, almost picked off by London Perron. And we talked about him as a returner, but now we should mention he's also a very capable defender. He's playing halfback and linebacker, I think, for the Panthers.
Yeah, you'll see him line up everywhere. Halfback, linebacker, free safety, punt return. He's one of many do-it-all Panther defenders.
So 2 key players on the Nepean team to look for on offense there is the 2 wide receivers, number 25, Jet Rose, and Tanner Hudson-Ward, wearing number 27. They like to pass, and they're not shy to do it. They nearly complete one there with just like a swing pass of the running back coming out into the flats. That goes incomplete, but certainly so far, Mike, they're not afraid to drop back and let that thing fly.
You got to test the Panthers. If you can throw on them, nobody's probably done it this year, so why not try? And like I said, coaches are feeling each other out. They'll find out what works, and why not start? It's decent field position. You're not backed up in your own end, so let her rip.
Okay, so here we go. It's a punting situation, 3rd and 10. The Eagles do punt it off, and that is returned by number 56, who's got the ball. He's going to take it and reverse field, kind of run into one of his own guys, finally wrapped up. You can't blame a guy for trying to make a play, though, I always say.
Yeah, it's hard when you have an up back getting the ball. They're not necessarily used to returning it. Again, the coaches will make that adjustment. They might move Eric or Ashton Chartrand up to be that up position. But somebody who's used to blocking and just running down and making that first block, all of a sudden they're the ones getting the ball. As long as you don't fumble it, even if you don't advance it, that's a good possession for the Panthers defense.
So that's Derek Duran who recovered the punt and tried to make something happen, but he does give his offense a pretty good field position to start. They're starting from the 50, and they've got I formation here. They're going to hand it off. A little bit of confusion in the background, but Shiloh makes a cut, and he's going to get about 3 or 4. He spun around a couple times before finally going down towards the Panthers bench.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they spot this. One of the officials, only looks like a couple yards, but
so this is going to give the Panthers a 2nd and 6. And so far, both teams, as you mentioned, Mike, are testing each other out. We've seen the Eagles go to the pass about 3 times out of the 5 plays they've run. The Panthers have kept it on the ground so far, and they haven't given them too many looks. They start in I formation again. It's going to be a halfback pass. Shiloh airs it out. He's got somebody open, and it is dropped.
Number 11, Thomas St. Laurent, he is going to be thinking about that one for the next couple nights.
Now, in his defense, it looked like he had to come back to that ball. That ball might have been a little bit underthrown, and any time of adjustment like that, when you've got the lights and the significance of this game, that's a tough catch.
Yeah, and Shiloh McKendy with that throw, he was the tight quarterback last year, and he's a first-year Mosquito, so not necessarily used to throwing the ball.
Okay, so the snap is handled and it's punted. Now he's got to be careful here because if he touches that, that's a live ball. But he's going to give the Eagles the ball back. There is a flag on the ground, so we'll see what that is. Could be a no yards because of a short punt. Referees are going to be sorting out that call right now. But so far, we haven't had any too many field flipping plays. The ball has relatively remained since the opening kickoff in the middle of the field. And no first downs so far for both teams. So.
Yeah, it looks like that neither team probably has the most astute punter.
Well said.
Getting a good drive together, that's going to flip the position of the field. Whether you score or not on that drive, that's going to be a big momentum and field position change.
So here we go. Eagles out of the shotgun. A pump fake, and then he lets it fire. It's going to be incomplete. That was well covered. I think he did a wise choice of just kind of overthrowing it out of way of danger from everybody. It's going to set up a 2nd and 10 for the Eagles. But this kid's got an arm on him.
He does, and there was a little confusion there. They have their two kind of main target wide receivers playing slot currently, and whoever was playing wide receiver on the field side kind of ran right into the path of that into that slot back. So, on
Absolutely.
to another down.
So a quick hitting play sets up the Eagles with a manageable maybe 3rd and 6. And we're going to see if they choose to go for it here. I notice at this level, a lot of coaches sometimes choose to just keep the offense on the field, especially at the punting game, like we've seen so far, hasn't been too helpful. But it looks like they're going to punt.
I think it was just a little too far.
A good snap and a pretty good kick. That's into the hands again of Durant. And Durant, who returned the last punt, got this one and once again brings it up to about the 45-yard line, and still good field position for the Panthers to start their 3rd offensive drive of the evening.
So that's exactly why you mentioned about coaches at this level thinking about going for it on 3rd down. That was a net punt of 7 yards. So, playing the percentages, and I've coached at Tyke and Mosquito, and that's a huge debate when you're in that kind of a situation. Is just, I can call a play that can get 8 yards versus a punt that only just got me 7.
And I think within reason, you should play the percentages and go for it. But I think at this level, you also want to help them develop that long snapping game and that punting and the special teams. So Panthers with the ball from their own 45. It's going to be a counter, and that's out to number 25, who gets about 7 yards. He fights for an extra at the end there.
Marvin LaRosar is a hard runner. He might get stopped. He might get touched in the backfield, but those legs never stop. He's been running the ball for a number of years for this Panthers team, and he's got a lot of experience, and he's a load to bring down.
LaRosar sets up probably the best play from scrimmage for the Panthers so far. They've got a 2nd and 4 here. Definitely looking to convert a 1st down and get into a groove here on offense. They've been mostly out of the eye, and now they've got a pro set in the backfield here. 2 dangerous running backs, but possibly a procedure. Oh, maybe a timeout here. Timeout, Eagles. So they probably saw something that they weren't prepared for, and we're maybe the first thing that I kind of notice here in this game is that they have taken a few risks with that halfback pass. The Eagles certainly haven't been shy to pass the ball and get some of these nerves out in the first quarter.
Yeah, I think the Eagles are who they are. I think that we've seen now that this is the first time you and I have both seen them, that they throw the ball. And they're not going to be scared to do it, and that's great. You are who you are. Don't adjust to your defense. Make the defense adjust to you. And from the Panthers' perspective, knowing Coach Perron like I do, he's got a base offense. He's going to run the boys. But he's going to take some shots, and he's not going to be afraid to throw that kind of stuff in. Very creative offensive coordinator, and they've been practicing. They've been practicing for this game. I'm not saying their game on the weekend they weren't focused on it, but when you always talk about seeing one game ahead, that they were looking forward to this game.
And looking forward, they are to this next play. It's a handoff, and that is Lazar, who's got a 1st down. Almost could have had more if he had stepped out of that last tackle, but a hard-earned 1st down, I would say.
Yeah, that's their bread and butter, just a counter cross play with their running backs, and they're just going to keep running it. They love that play to both sides, to both backs, and little misdirection, try to get the defense going one way and bring the ball back the other way. Well,
you mentioned about taking a shot. I think anyone that knows head coach Mike Schmidt, he's an energetic, passionate guy, and if you can get a big play early on in a game, that can really swing the momentum in your favor because that bench will be hopping. I've seen it happen before. So here we go, fresh set of downs for the Panthers, and it's going to be a handoff on a jet sweep. That's to Shiloh, who has come up and close to another 1st down, still fighting for yards, but he's brought down and another good run for the Panthers here.
Just another quick hit. No nonsense. Get the ball into your playmaker's hands and let Shiloh run.
That was tackle made by Nepean Eagles' Owen Turan. And you're starting to see things maybe open up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, the Panthers the coaches on the sideline have seen what they want to see against the defense. They've seen the fronts, they've seen who they want to attack, and now they think they're going to have a chance to exploit some plays.
So Sambiona turns the ball over, maybe a botched snap, and the Eagles have it. I can't see that. Yes, Eagles ball. So the first turnover of the night, Mike, and that's a big one.
It is. I mean, they were driving. They'd just gotten 2 first downs, and you turn the ball over. That deflates the offense. But now it's up to the coaches to get them back up and reminding them that they had success the last few plays. And now your defense, again, this defense has not let up a point the entire season. So give them a shot to get you the ball back and come back and have another great series. Tristan, it's his first year playing quarterback. No excuse for botched snaps. You guys, they've been working on that since June, but that happens.
So here we go. The Eagles with the ball out of the shotgun. He fires. It's tipped, but yeah, I think that's caught by an O-lineman. So that's an ineligible receiver that caught the ball. But definitely some pressure in his face as he releases that ball. I would say they're lucky that it wasn't intercepted and something worse. So that's going to probably set up.
Yeah, he had big Corey Sheridan in his face. He was coming. Looks like Corey plays nose tackle or some sort of 3 technique, and he beat that center and guard combination, and he got right into the quarterback's face.
So as I see this Eagles offense, I'm thinking that they're going to come back to a draw. They're setting up this pass. They're drawing the defense in, and that might open up the ability to have those linebackers start to vacate the middle of the field and then set up that draw. Maybe something to look for here. Yeah,
there's something bread and butter that can get you some yards back because it is an ineligible receiver downfield on the Eagles, so they're going to be backed up.
It's going to remain first down.
That's right. So, just give yourself something to get some yards back. Maybe get the ball back to the line of scrimmage and play for another down.
So I was talking to the coach of the Eagles, that's head coach Ron Gilbo, and he's saying that half of the team haven't played football before. So
that's amazing.
This is unusual for a team to do so well.
Yeah.
With not a lot of experience there. It's going to be I formation and a trick play. Number 27, that is Tanner Hudson Ward going around, cutting back into the towards the middle of the field, but was that a fumble, Ruski?
No, he was playing slot on the boundary side, and the 2 running backs came short side, and he came back on a little counter sweep. Great play again, something easy, an easy handoff to just get the ball back, and little do you know, 20 yards later, first down.
So a good play. It's a quick hitting play. It's hard to react and keep contained as a defense. That is the Eagles' first down of the evening. So something that they're going to try to build on the momentum here.
It's going to be interesting to see if
it's going to be a straight dive up the middle, and that goes for maybe 3 or 4 yards.
Yeah, interesting to see if they go back to the ground. They had a little success, and they haven't had a lot of success with the pass. So we'll see if they decide to change it up a bit.
So the quarterback, Reed Prevost, who we talked about for the Eagles here, having a really all-star caliber year so far, and he's looking pretty poised here in the first quarter of this big HESN Live NCAFA Mosquito game. We've got a 2nd and 6 for the Eagles. I formation, 3 receivers to the quarterback's right. It's going to be a toss and fake reverse, and it's sniffed out, and the tackle's made by number 16 on the Panthers defense, keeping that contained.
Yeah, Ethan did a great job. He saw it and reacted really well. He didn't get sucked into that fake reverse.
And these with these great receivers on this Eagles offense, you're going to look for those jet sweeps. It's very important to keep contained, to manage your responsibilities. Certainly at this age group, sometimes there's the there's the invitation to try to do a lot as a single player instead of just focusing on your job. And if that's contained, just keeping contained, looking for a reverse coming the other way. In that case, very disciplined football play, and that could have been a big play for the Eagles.
Yeah, basics on defense. Let the coaches draw up all the fancy blitzes, but you as a player, you have responsibilities. And, as a defensive end or an outside linebacker, you have contained, then backside contained, then pursuit down the line. So Coach Schmidt has definitely instilled that into these defensive players.
So far, I would say the Eagles have done a great job on their punting team because they've kept the ball primarily and most importantly out of London Perron's hands here. He tried to recover that one, but it was a little bit tricky and a bouncing ball. He just falls on it, gives the ball back to his offense. So we'll see if the last time the offense for the Panthers came out, they fumbled that snap and turned the ball over. Let's see how they respond to that last series.
I anticipate probably something easy, nothing too crazy. Just get the ball back into your quarterback, to your running back, and just get the confidence built back up in these kids.
Thomas St. Laurent is the wide out here closest to us. The toss is to the right side. And he takes a little bit of a stiff arm, which buys him enough time to get a first down and much, much more. That's going to be a first down Panthers.
Yeah, Shiloh had a great job. Just again, like I said, bread and butter, just a little toss to the field, and give your speedster as much room to run and to turn that corner as you can. It's good quality coaching, knowing your players, and just keeping it simple.
So, Mike, what's it like seeing these kids and coaching them at Tyke and now seeing them at this Mosquito level? The body's growing and the skill level has gotten better. That must be a pretty proud and exciting moment for you.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, a lot of these kids, that's the first thing is just the size of them. Can't believe how big some of them have gotten. And there goes Marvin.
Marvin with a nice run off to the left side of the field. That was a sweep to the left side, and he gains probably about 7 yards. And he's going to set up a 2nd and 3, a manageable second down for the Panthers. But, yeah, seeing these kids go from even in some cases with the Panthers and the Eagles, they have mite programs. Mm-hmm. So they can start really as early as 5 years old here.
Yep, and some of them have, and a lot of them have. I know from the Panthers side, and I'm assuming, half the team with the Eagles are new players, but I bet you the rest of them started at mites.
Yeah, we've got a lot of kids that are playing tonight in this big game that have come through the mite program. Marvin, with that stiff arm, gets the first down for the Panthers, is wrestled violently, and still going here. He's finally going to hit the turf.
Yeah, Shiloh is not giving up. He wanted to keep going on that one. That's a kid who again is just, I had him at Tyke, and he was an 8-year-old with us at Tyke. He was the only 8-year-old on our team, and I coached his older brother Fabrice for years as well at Tyke, Mosquito, and Bantam Varsity, and you could see the skill, you could see the passion, the desire, but he just didn't have the physical tools yet. And then all of a sudden now, as a 10-year-old, now he's ready to run.
Well, this kid we know is going to be a star for many years in his NCAFA career, and he's sure an electrifying player to watch. I think if you're the Panthers, it's very important to get the ball in his hands early and often.
Yeah, they've been riding him. This drive. It's been a bunch of toss sweeps to the field side to Shiloh. So I'm just about to call him Fabrice to Shiloh, and he's turned the field on them. He's been a great runner, and one of the nice things that I've liked to see is Marvin is leading them. It's by committee, right. And they have 3 guys and sometimes 4 guys that can run the ball, but if they don't get the ball, they're blocking for their teammates, and it's just the unselfishness that leads to a 5-0 regular season so far.
I was just going to say, often when you see teams that are successful, they have that buy-in team mentality. And really, as a guy that came up with football and we grew up playing the game, really that's what you remember is those teams that you really bought into the program and sold yourself out for the rest of the players on the team. It looks like these two teams are on that track and are maybe A-Cup bound.
Yep. And like you said, more than just the A-Cups. You remember the A-Cups, you remember the championships, but it's the friendships and it's the memories. And I know that sounds kind of corny, but it's true. I mean, I've been coaching with some guys who I've been coaching with for almost 20 years, and still friends with guys that I played with, and I know you're the same way. So that's what this game's all about.
It's Ottawa football at its best. Nepean Eagles versus the Cumberland Panthers at the Mosquito level. For those of you joining us now, it's 0-0 and a very, very evenly matched tilt so far here. The Panthers on a dive there, gain about 4, set up a second down, and for the first time really entering Eagles territory.
And this is that field flip that we talked about. It's not going to happen with special teams tonight. It's going to happen with long, sustained drives.
Under center is the quarterback, and it's going to be a toss left. And a nice cut back inside. He's got some room. He might go. He's to the 10, 5, and he is scoring. And first blood is drawn by the Cumberland Panthers.
I mean, that's a 38-yard touchdown by Marvin LaRosar, and that doesn't happen without the lead block of Shiloh McKendy. So we talked about Shiloh coming this way towards us and Marvin leading them, and as soon as they flip the field and run the exact same play, just the other way, it's Shiloh blocking for Marvin.
And now the other interesting thing about Mosquito football, Mike, is do you go for the extra point or do you run it in? I guess it depends on how confident you are with the kicker that you have on your team. They're going to go for the extra point, so they must be confident here.
Good hold, good snap, just a little bit right. Low and right.
Low and right. So if we go back to that touchdown, Mike, we just see that is a well-executed toss out to the far side. And just that is an instinctual cut as a running back to feel that and know when to cut it upfield and get north. He scores for the Panthers, and they go up 7-0 over the Nepean Eagles.
It's just that drill that running back coaches just instill in their running backs. It's bounce and go 5 yards. It's bounce outside and go 5 yards, and then you practice the way you play and you play the way you practice, and all of a sudden now that just shows, Marvin's probably been working on that for the last number of years. I mean, I know he has because I made him run it. and now all of a sudden in a big game, it turns into 6 points.
Six 6-0 Panthers. They'll kick off to the Eagles, and it looks like an onside squib kick, and there's a good chance. I don't think that they got it back. It will be Eagles' ball, but they're going for the jugular here early in the second quarter.
Yeah, Mosquito football is always funny. Was it an onside kick, or just can he not kick very well?
Good point.
But sometimes it doesn't matter. You saw all the players knew what to do. They knew the ball had to go 10 yards.
And they're running down.
Yeah, and they went for it, and they knew that if it went 10 yards and it was live, that they could get it and they could recover it.
They don't get it, and that's Eagles' ball. We'll see how they look to respond after that touchdown run. They're out of the gun again, and the quarterback steps into his throw and lets it fly. Nearly completed. I think it was off the hands of the receiver, but a really well-placed ball by the quarterback, Reed.
Yeah, that was 25 yards in the air. I mean, that's rolling to his right. Coach is making a good decision to have him roll to his strong side, and he let that ball fly. That was close.
It was well covered, I will say, though. There's about 3 or 4 defenders in a circle around that receiver. So even if he did come up with that magnificent catch, he would have been wrapped up pretty quickly. So that'll set up, that incomplete pass will set up 2nd and 10 for the Eagles. 6:36 left in the second quarter. 3 receivers to the strong side. It's a reverse, and he's got room. Number 25 of the Eagles gets around the last defender. He's going to get a chunk of yardage on that play. No flags down, so a good response by the Eagles in this first drive.
So that's the play that the coach marks down in his play sheet, that it worked coming one way when they had to make up those yards after the ineligible man downfield. And the coach just marks that and says, I'm going to go back to that one. That worked well. And so that one was to number 25, Jeff Ross, just the other way. And the same thing is, just they've got 2 athletes playing slot back who they can run the ball to and they can throw the ball to. And You just give the ball to one of them and let them run.
I wonder if his parents knew how quick he'd be when they named him Jet. But look for Jet to be called upon again early and often. So we've got 6-0 Panthers over the Eagles here in our Mosquito HESN Live matchup. The first score was just in the Panthers' last series where Marvin took a sweep off the left side, cut back up field, and took it all the way, probably about a 35-yard touchdown run. And the Eagles have passed a lot so far.
I like them taking shots. I'm an aggressive play caller. I feel I am, and I love seeing Coach throwing the ball. They're going to run screen here.
Provo with the screen. It's set up pretty nicely, but it's sniffed out.
That's great play calling. I know it didn't amount to anything, but, you know, what a great play call at the Mosquito level, trying to run screen.
Very impressed with the coaching staffs for these two teams to be able to set up sophisticated plays like that at this level. You don't often, like you said, Mike, see that kind of a screen at the Mosquito level, but it's the talent is on display tonight.
Yeah, if you don't challenge the kids, if you don't put stuff in the playbook and work on it and see if it will work, then you'll never know. And obviously, you know, Coach Gilbo said, you know what, let's try some stuff in their playbook when we realized how, you know, their quarterback could throw and they had some athletes at receiver, so let's figure it out.
2nd and a mile, Eagles run. They complete it. That is number 27, Wallace.
That's another one that the coach is putting his little check mark on his play sheet and says, you can do it, we can do it better. You want to run halfback pass? We can run halfback pass. So they just ran it. The Panthers ran it for an incomplete earlier in the game out of a toss, and the Eagles just ran it out of a little hitch screen down to one of their receivers, and he threw it down to
Hudson Ward. Yeah. Very, very tricky play there to execute, but they're able to do it. And that gives them a fresh set of downs. So 1st and 10, the Eagles on the Panthers' 25-yard line, close to it. Out of the I formation, under center. They're going to pass again. He's just going to maybe try to get rid of it. He had pressure in his face there.
Yeah, it was a lot of pressure right there. There was 3 or 4 Panthers led by Derek Duran that were they were bearing down on him.
So Duran, we've seen he's fielded 2 punts so far tonight on the special teams. He's in that middle of the Panthers defense, playing middle linebacker, I believe, and filling those run holes, applying pressure in the passing situations. So here we go, 2nd down. It's a toss and reverse, and they've got some room again on that reverse. They don't get a whole lot there. It's probably maybe 2 or 3 yards that they're going to gain on that. But
Parker Glover stayed home. You know, he's not the biggest player, but he's been playing that corner position for years, and he knows. He diagnoses stuff. He's such a smart player, and he saw it, stayed at home, and is a great tackler.
It's a huge advantage to any defense if you can feel confident in your corner, being able to stay home like that and be able to come up and make the tackle in open field. So they're lucky to have number 2 out there.
Big 3rd down here.
Again, to the pass. That's a risky pass. He tried to thread it through, but there was a defender in his face. And you can tell he's been coached to get his hands up when the ball's coming out. They've tipped one that was nearly intercepted. It was caught by the O-lineman. So I think the Panthers defense is doing a good job understanding that. Try your best to get to the quarterback. Make sure that he's under duress when he's back in the pocket passing. But if you can't get to him, put your hands up and try to get a deflection.
Yep. Again, just good, solid technical coaching, right? The basics. If you do the basics right, you're going to be successful 9 times out of 10 in this game.
Good point, Mike. So here we go. Panthers back with the ball under center. Maybe a little bit of early movement. I don't think it was called. And that's just going to go for about 2 yards with a toss out to the right side. I'd say they're lucky just to get that play without a flag.
Yeah, it looked like there was a procedure on the offensive line not called, so it never happened. That's the coach in me.
That's it. Well, on a run play, you want to get off the ball, and this is an aggressive O-line they've got there. So sometimes that amounts to a couple of procedure calls throughout a game, but you take the good with the bad.
These stands are packed, Jesse. This is a hopping place tonight.
We've got a full crowd. Unbelievable. And what a game. 6-0 for the Panthers. 2:41 left in the second quarter. They go back to Shiloh on that sweep off the left side. This time, the Eagles have an answer for it. And they wrap them up. They keep their contained. They're set up third down for the Panthers.
I mean, for a team that has half of the players as new kids, they're an impressive bunch of players. I mean, the coaches have obviously done a great job coaching these kids up. Same thing as we just saw Parker on the Eagle sweep. The Eagle corner stayed at home, made a great form tackle. It's pretty impressive to see these kids who are just picking up this game at this age playing at such a high level.
So we've seen this formation in the punt before with two onside players off to the right side, and those are two running backs. So very dangerous, quick players that can get down and try to recover the ball. No, they're not onside. They're going to fake the punt. The punter is going to come off the right side. It looks like he's got the first down. No flags down. And they're going to convert on third down. They decide to go for it, and you got to like the bravado here of this Cumberland Panthers team.
Yeah, London Perron is their punter and their kick returner, so he's obviously got the confidence of the coaches to hold on to the ball and to find that first down marker.
So London entering his second season as a Panther, and he and his family actually relocated from the Pickering, Toronto area. They played in the Durham Dolphins program before seeing the light and coming to Ottawa and playing for the Panthers.
That's right. Coach Perron, his dad is the offensive coordinator and has also been coaching at the OPFL level with the Panthers as well.
Marvin up the middle, and he's good for about 9 or 10 yards. Might be just short of first down, but a great gashing run up the middle nonetheless. So the run game has been definitely what their Panthers are leveraging here. And on the other side, the Eagles have definitely looked to capitalize on the pass. I know that maybe in some of the games leading up to this one, they might have been able to have receivers run a little bit more open. And this might be the first test, definitely the best test for this offense of the Eagles, to have people covered downfield and make tough catches in well-covered situations. The Panthers are just going to do a quarterback sneak up the middle, and they convert. Oh, no, they don't. The ball came out or was stripped.
I mean, there was a mass of kids. There was 12 aside, so there was probably 24 kids in just a little grouping, and I didn't see it. I didn't see the ball come out at all. So I'm thinking maybe somebody stripped it from Tristan, like just took it from him. I'm not sure if he actually fumbled it, but needless to say, the turnover.
Well, what is not?
YouTube feed is not working. And we have a lot of families watching.
So here we go. We've got the Eagles back with the ball after that strip. And he's just going to take it himself off the right side. Gain maybe 4 or 5 yards. So, Mike, what are we looking at here?
Second down and 4, second down and 3, something like that. Again, the Eagles, big turnover, so I don't really expect anything crazy to get to third down. They need to get a first down here. They need to drive the ball. They need to build some momentum that they can get into the end zone before the end of the half with only 1 minute and 20 seconds left. I'm totally wrong.
And it's complete to number 27. He had maybe 2 steps on the Panthers defender. That was London Perron coverage. But he got just enough open, and he comes down with a huge Huge completion for the Eagles.
What a gutsy call by the coaching staff. That's aggressive. That's aggression and being aggressive, and that's why I don't coach defense. I wouldn't have seen that one coming.
Well, those of you just joining us on YouTube, we did have some technical issues on YouTube. It has been streaming on Facebook the whole time. Some are tuning in on YouTube, some on Facebook. We apologize for that, but we've got you now here. Eagles have the ball down by 6 with only a minute left in the second quarter. They're looking to try to get in to the end zone and knot this game up before halftime. They've just came off a huge completion there.
Those hitches are scary. He's throwing the ball backwards. If he missed that ball's live. You got to have confidence in your quarterback and in your receivers to call that play.
Definitely a risky play at times. It can easily turn into a touchdown the other way if it's scooped up. But here we go. Second and long. Eagles have trouble with the snap. He's just going to wisely throw it away, but he did have a defender over there. That was Jet. But they come away with nothing. That set up a third down and a crucial decision here for the Eagles. What do you do in this situation, Mike? 33 seconds.
Third and long. I doubt they probably have a kicker who can, make a 32-yard field goal. So, bread and butter. I mean, they're a throwing team. They're a passing team. They're an aggressive coaching staff. I'm going to say they don't necessarily need to take a shot now. They have timeouts left. So, you can run the ball here. Maybe that little jet sweep that we saw. Coach Schmidt's calling a timeout with the Panthers.
So that's a timeout. Before the timeout was called, they came out in what looked like 3 receivers to the strong side and 1 ISO receiver here on the backside. And if you get the right matchup, if you get man coverage, that's maybe a time that the Eagles want to just chuck it deep. They definitely show that that's the strength of this offense.
Yep.
Just completed one moments ago, a big one. So, kind of showing that maybe that's a kink in the armor of this stout Panthers defense.
Yeah, I can see Coach Schmidt sending some pressure. I mean, right now, if they're going to throw, he's going to match the throw with some pressure. But the Eagles, they basically, it's third down. So, whether they get a first down or not, they got to take a shot deep. So why not take a shot, into the end zone? So we'll see what their coaches come up with.
Yeah, you really, one thing you don't want to do is turn the ball over with 33 seconds left and then have them Panthers, run an 80-yard touchdown here and make it 13-0.
Yeah.
So I would say take a shot here, get your defense ready to come back out there and focus again. Here we go. Third down, out of the shotgun. Same formation, 3 receivers to the strong side. Yeah. He's going to get the ball out, and nicely defended by Panthers defensive back. That's number 10. I think it was number 10. I don't see his name here on the roster.
It's hard to see. It's all the way across the field for us. But what a heads-up play, knocking the ball down instead of intercepting it when then you'd be back on your own 5-yard line. At least you're kind of giving yourself a chance at the 23 or 24-yard line. Whether it was intended or not, to me it looks like a really heads-up play.
Let's go with that. I think he knew exactly what he was doing in that situation. Knocks the ball to the ground. And now the Panthers have 27.3 seconds here before the half. They've had success off the left side with that toss. They're going to go to the right this time, but running back wasn't ready for it. He's going to do his best to make something out of this, but he's tackled, and that's going to bring the clock down to 18.6 seconds. You definitely don't want to turn it back over to the Eagles at this point if you're the Panthers. They want to get it into the half. Even with only 6-point lead, that's still something in a game like this where every point is going to be earned.
Yeah, the clock's running. This would be a time when I would probably think it's time to just take a knee, let the clock run all the way down. The Eagles aren't using their timeouts. They probably could have. They have 2 of them left, but they're trying for another sweep.
So they go to the right side again, and that's Marvin, who is a dangerous, or is that Marvin?
Shiloh.
Or Shiloh. Shiloh is a dangerous running back, but that's going to that's going to do it for the first half. Mike, your impression here?
I'm really impressed with the Panthers and the Eagles. I had no idea what to expect. Knowing the Panthers players and the coaches like I do, I knew they'd be ready. When I showed up and you gave me that note that half the Eagles team is new, these kids are showing well. They are tough. They are well coached. And they are playing hard. And it's impressive to see such a dynamic passing offense with one, such young players, and two, such new players to the game. So this second half is going to be really fun. The Panthers they haven't been tested like this.
No.
They haven't been in a game where it's been, this close and this tight this year. So, we're looking forward to a good second half.
Definitely a good second half coming up. We're going to go to break shortly. Stick around. We're going to have NCAFA's fearless leader, the president, come up and join us for a quick chat. And then we're going to have the second half for you. For everyone joining online, try to share the link on your Facebook or share it, tweet it out. We're trying to promote this game and promote these young athletes at this level that are putting it all out on the field here. I'm Jesse Card here with Mike Rouleau. And we'll be back shortly.
Wood Avenue in Vanier.
And we are back here. I'm joined in the broadcast booth with the president of NCAFA, Steve Dean. Welcome to the show. What do you think of the game so far?
Isn't this fantastic? Looking at 10 and 11-year-old kids running and gunning, throwing the ball, catching the ball. This is just tremendous. Football's alive and well at the Mosquito level for sure.
Well, you certainly got a good passing game there at the Eagles Mosquito team. Mike and I were talking about how impressed we are of some of the capabilities of these players at this level.
Well, I think it's also a tribute to the coaching, the fact that these kids, both teams, running sound defensive strategies. Offensively, they were working a whole bunch of stuff, halfback option, and these are things that take a long time to develop, but certainly these kids are picking them up quickly.
So the age groups were maybe a big step 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Moving that down, the latest and probably the most publicized and promoted change at the league level has been the midget Big Ten and the QMFL conference at the midget level. In your perception so far, we're into week 8 at the midget level. How has that gone so far in your mind?
Oh, I think it's tremendous, and I think our partners in the QMFL would say the same thing. No league has dominated, certainly in terms of the interlocking games. There's some strong teams on the Quebec side and Ottawa as well. Happy to see Canada going undefeated so far in the midget level. They've really turned things around. And certainly looking forward to the playoffs, which will select the Interprovincial Bowl champs or participants. So
that's right.
That's something to look forward to.
So the Eagles, I believe, will play Canada next, and that's at TD Place.
Yes.
So that's another great experience for the young players to play in such a world-class facility like that.
Oh yeah.
What do you think that does to the players when they get that experience?
Well, I think these guys are one step away from university, and they're seeing this the opportunity to play on the same field that the pros play and university plays. I think they've got the change rooms open for the kids, which is a nice little treat. But certainly, watching a good Panda game last week with a lot of NCAFA players on it, our midget level is the next step for it. So it's all good.
It's fantastic. So we've got the second half coming up here. It's a 6-0 game, so it's a tight game. What's your prediction here in the second half, and who's going to come out victorious here tonight, Steve?
Well, I'm hoping the Eagles can pick up a play or two to even the score. But certainly, Cumberland's running attack is tremendous. I think it's going to be which defense is going to let what go first. But either way, it's been a great game so far, and I hope the second half's the same.
You heard it. Steve Dean, president of NCAFA. How many years has it been, Steve?
More than when I count on my fingers and toes, so it's been a while.
We'll leave it at that. Done a fantastic job leading football in Ottawa, and with the resurrection of the Red Blacks, the Ravens, you've been a part of all of that. So I want to thank you on behalf of HSN and the football community for all that you do.
Well, it's been a lot of fun and a lot of great people to make this work. It's not just one person, but I'm happy to see football alive and well, and certainly this game emulates where the younger guys are, and we're in pretty good shape with this. Is what we're looking forward to.
So we'll be back with the second half shortly. Thanks for tuning in. We are back here with the second half. Eagles set to kick off. And a real tight game so far. If you're just joining us now, it's 6-0 for the Panthers in these two undefeated teams here towards the end of the season. It's going to be recovered by Marvin. He's got the ball out to the left side towards the Panthers bench. He's wrapped up, but he's going to give the Panthers offense first crack at it. And they're out about the 40-yard line.
Such great pursuit and tackling by the Eagles. They're right there. They're in this game, and they're coming for these Panthers.
So far we've seen this Panthers offense execute really well off the left side of the Eagles defense. The sweep game has been working well. It's been coupled with a couple dives that have gone for some major yardage. We haven't seen any too much trickery here or passing out of the Panthers, but we'll see what the second half has in store. Quarterback is under the center. Maybe got away with another procedure there, but they're going to go deep and complete it to number 11, and that's going to be up to about the 48-yard line of the Eagles.
Just when you were saying that, I was thinking we haven't seen a pass by the Panthers. We had a halfback pass, but nothing traditional from the quarterback. And first play right out of the gun from the second half.
That's St. Laurent on a big post play that converts and gives the Panthers a fresh set of downs. Here we go. I'd say that's a really nice pass, placed perfectly for St. Laurent. And they go back to the sweep game off the right side. Shiloh gets a gashing the Eagles defense for another maybe 25-yard gain.
That play's set up really well. You've got a good lead block in Marvin. They come back, can't call it crackback anymore. That block doesn't exist, but they bring St. Laurent down along the line to take that outside man, and they just let Shiloh run and turn the corner. And if he makes it and the blocking is there, it's going to be a big play, and that's what happened.
So they're moving the ball quickly here in the start of the second quarter. And here we go. So the Panthers with a first down, going under the center, pro back with those two running backs in the backfield. You're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. With any of these guys, they can do it and get the job done. This time the Eagles wrap up.
Now it's about the adjustments, right? The halftime adjustments the coaches make, and the players know. They've seen these plays now for a half of football. They know what's coming. It's just who can execute better. And that play specifically, the Eagles got penetration. They got some big kids on that D-line, and they got in. They made a good tackle on Marvin.
Larazar getting the ball. I think even distribution for the two running backs so far, and the O-line for the Panthers have really held their own here so far. And this is a very good Eagles defense that they're up against here tonight. Oh, under pressure, he's hit as he releases it, and I think that disrupted the trajectory of the ball there. It goes incomplete.
Yeah, the Eagles are running, you can call it a traditional 44 front, but they've only got two guys that put their hands down. They're two defensive tackles. They keep a lot of linebackers and a lot of guys around the line of scrimmage. Again, coaching adjustments and scouting. They know that the Panthers run the ball. And so now at halftime, if you're going to run 8 men in the box with no safeties, Coach Perron is going to take his shots. And that's what he was looking for in the first half. And now he's making the adjustments to try to throw the ball in the middle of the field because there's no safety back there.
It's a great observation, Mike. They go back to the toss. They feel comfortable with this play, and they're getting big yardage with it. Shiloh really using that stiff arm, and it's working. He's every time he extends that arm on the defender, he's buying himself 5, 6, 7 yards after contact.
Yeah, his big brother's teaching him something.
That's right. We're referring obviously to Fabrice, a great football player in his own right, coming off just a record-breaking year in the OPFL with the Panthers at the JV level.
Yeah.
And definitely love to see him play some more football in his later years of his NCAFA career.
Yeah, he's currently suiting up for the St. Peter's Knights here in the East End, so his football career is not done.
Yep, absolutely. Far from it.
I'm not sure what's going on here.
The Eagles got the ball here. I'm not quite... I guess that was third down, was it?
It was, but they've got a guy running off the sidelines, and they had to
Little bit-
huddle twice. And
A little bit of confusion. The Eagles run that reverse again and cuts it back up towards the middle of the field. They're going to get probably 8 yards on that first down play.
I think everybody was confused there.
Nonetheless, the Eagles get the ball back here, and they're really looking to probably, I would think, maybe sustain a drive. They want to keep their offense on the field for a little bit longer than they have in the past. Give, obviously, the defense some time to regroup and gather and strategize against this run game that seems to be, if they can stop that tonight, they've got a really good chance. Still in the game, obviously, with only down by 6.
Especially at this time, at this position of the field, right? We talked about that earlier in the game at the 25-yard line.
So Provo gets back, throws it incomplete. Once again, feeling the pressure in his face. He doesn't have much time to get rid of it.
Durand once again.
Durand. We've mentioned his name lots tonight.
I know Coach Schmidt's defensive system very well, and it's the quickest way from one point to another, and it's straight. It's a straight line. He loves sending that middle linebacker right up the middle, and that's what Durand's doing right now. He's getting all that pressure on the quarterback, and looks like they're going to have to try to punt again.
So they got 4 backs there to help with the protection. He's able to get it off cleanly. And once again, we still haven't seen London Perron get his hands on that ball.
Yeah, that was number 36, Ashton Chartrand, and he, again, he's not necessarily used to holding the ball and forgot to get his knee up. And had the knee on the ground when he picked up the ball, so it's obviously a dead ball right there. But still in very good field position for the Panthers.
That's right, Mike. They've had, I'd say, more success offensively out of the two teams. Obviously, the scoreboard would dictate that. But really, just a close matchup we're watching here tonight on HESN Live. We've got Mosquito, NCAFA football at its best. 2 undefeated teams, one from the west, one from the east. And it's first down Panthers. It's going to be a bit of a kind of a counter dive. And that's going to go for about 3 or 4 yards. And set up a 2nd and 6.
That Eagles defense, that's hard for offensive linemen to pick up. So I think they did a good job getting 5 yards there, but they didn't have one guy with their hand down. So, who knows who's coming and who knows who's backing out or what hole those defensive linemen are coming through. And again, this goes to coaching and repetition at practice and these kids buying in and learning and being willing to be taught and coached. And this Eagles defense is holding a very potent Panthers offense to only 6 points is pretty impressive.
2nd and 6 for the Panthers. They run the same play just off to the probably the 2-hole there, and he's going to chug close to a first down, but finally gang tackled. And is there a flag down here, Mike?
First down.
Oh, it is. They do have a first down. Okay.
So Shiloh McKendy off a broken play, bad handoff. Defensive lineman got into the quarterback, and it was a broken play, but that's one of his strengths is turning something out of nothing, and he was able to pick up 5-6 yards and get the first down. That's still very prevalent in Tyke and Mosquito football. Is not everything's super crisp.
That's right, and sometimes it's just capitalizing on those sloppy plays that lead to scores and championships in some cases.
Yeah, and just athlete on athlete sometimes too.
So there we go. They're running up between the tackles now, and follows right behind his guard there. And once again, getting 5 clean yards off of that play. And with those types of runs, Mike, they can really slow down the pace of the game a little bit. They can draw a lot of notches off the clock. And sometimes that can be really beneficial, not only for the defense, but it can tire out the other team's defense.
I mean, the goal of the game is to win. Doesn't matter if you win by 1 point or if you win by 50 points. So if they're just prepared to milk the clock and 5 yards at a time and just keep chugging along and getting first downs, eventually those first downs are going to turn into another score. And that's what the Eagles need to do. They need to get to this quarterback and get off the field.
Oh! So he just decided to go to the passing game. He took a shot. Looked like he had maybe 2 receivers in the same place on the field, which typically you don't want to see. That is defended. It was batted down out of danger, and
on comes the punting team. 3rd down and 6. Do we anticipate another fake?
well, I think in this situation, you might like to just punt it deep, get it down there as far as you can, and maybe hope for the returner to fumble it, jump on it, maybe leads to a score here. They're going to do it. Yeah. Perron
to
gets
the corner,
it down.
gets a good roll,
Good
right
bounce.
Down to the 5-yard line. Okay, they're going to give him no yards. There's going to be a penalty, but it's only of the 5-yard variety because it had hit the ground, not caught in the air. And, the Panthers defense, again, who haven't let up a point all year, have pinned the Eagles at the 10-yard line. So I think that's exactly what Coach Schmidt wanted.
So you talk about not letting a point up all year. Kind of reminds me of a karate-led Tyke team a few years ago. I think they faced the West Carleton Wolverines in the A-Cup final back on the old Millennium Field behind us.
Yep.
And, we haven't seen that type of success on the defensive side of the ball since the karate Tyke team, I don't think.
That was a good offense, too, don't forget. There's somebody in the booth here leading that offense. Don't want to give all the credit to Hendricks' defense.
Right,
but,
yeah.
We had a lot of success with that 2003 birth year age group of kids. And, the Panthers and the Eagles are two stout programs across the city. And you're going to see these kids face off against each other in many A-Cups for the next number of years.
That's right. Can't wait. They go back to that receiver. Oh, a bit of a lucky bounce and a completion. And the Eagles are going to he's got to cut back. But what a gain and what a completion by the Nepean Eagles. They're running that receiver hitch pass.
Yep. And to what looked like the same side slot. I don't think it was to the other side. No, he just took off from that same slot. So, they're just hoping that there's going to be somebody bites up, and that's what happened. And then there, you just saw the corner bite, and there was a receiver and
it was actually really well defended by Perron, but nonetheless, they get it. That sets up 1st and 10, and they flip the field successfully. They go back to the pass game. Oh, nearly intercepted, and if that was by London, that would have been a pick 6, I believe.
He read it, he saw it, and just wasn't able to hang on to the ball.
So the Eagles getting away with a lucky one, 2 lucky ones, really, back-to-back. The completion there first that you just saw had a look at, and then now nearly a pick 6. But they retain possession. It's 2nd and 10. And this is, I think, one of those critical points in the game if the Eagles want to come away with a score on this drive. Quarterback confusion, tosses it quickly out to his running back, and he makes at least 5 or 6 yards on that, and that could have been a lot worse.
We just saw it, right? The broken play that Shiloh ran 5 yards, and now a broken play that an Eagles running back ran 5 yards. Not quite 5, 3 or 4 yards, but like I said, sometimes it's just athlete on athlete, and that kind of stuff happens. You got a miscommunication in the backfield, and one guy just takes it upon himself and gets positive yards at least.
Absolutely right, Mike, and I think this is a big decision time for head coach Ron Guilbeault. He's going to keep the offense out there. They're going to toss left and go for that reverse again, and a reverse pass. Nonetheless, they complete it. I don't know if it's enough, though. No, it's not. They're going to turn the ball over, but you got to like...
What a call.
You got to like the attitude there.
Oh, amazing. Toss, reverse, pass. And it was completed. I mean, I know it didn't go for the first down, but, there's 4 things that can go wrong in that play, and all of them went right. What a great call by the coaching staff.
So they don't get the result that they're looking for, but... unbelievable play. It's worth another look here. Reverse pass. Now this receiver didn't really get down.
Got turned around
far enough, and the other thing too is that he did have pressure coming, so he kind of threw it off his back foot. He wasn't able to really get much into it. So they run a misdirection counter there, and That one is sniffed out by the D-line.
That's bread and butter for the Panthers. So that's, that gets them their 4.5 yards, and, they get back to trying to milk this clock and driving the ball down for one final score.
That's Drake Book, I believe, that made the tackle, number 66. He is joined by Hunter Williamson, Jaden Russell, and Brody Hammonster on the D-line for the Eagles. They've been stout all night. They're going to need a good effort on defense here to withstand the storm.
I'm impressed with the Eagles' defensive line. There's somebody in the backfield all the time.
Little bit of pushing and shoving behind the line of scrimmage as tempers start to flare here.
Now, those guys have been going at each other all night, right? Defensive tackle and guards, they just don't like each other. And it's been 3 quarters of, trying to just knock each other and having fun doing it. I mean, these offensive, defensive line kids, they just love it.
So Sam Bibona, incomplete pass. He's looking for that deep crossing post that they've been trying to go after for a few times here. London Perron's going to punt, though, and that is going to go right into the waiting arms of the Nepean returner. He safely gets down after a few jukes, and once again, pretty quickly, the Eagles are coming back out on offense.
Punt and punt return at this level is always scary because you got to keep your offense on. So you got a bunch of guys who are not used to running down the field and tackling somebody, and Panthers obviously, did a very good job of it, and only allowed a couple yards in the return.
So as the clock ticks down on the third quarter, it's still 6-0 for the Panthers in this real stalemate of a Mosquito matchup. The Eagles running some trickery, and they're back on offense, looking to get in the end zone on one of the next series that they have the ball. They toss out a wide receiver screen that goes for maybe 2 yards. It's wrapped up by your man at corner, number 2. That's Parker Glover. We've mentioned him a few times. I like this guy. I like DBs.
Yeah.
but he's shown us a lot so far.
I mean, you might miss him. He's probably the smallest kid on the field, but he is a tackling machine. If you want to teach somebody how to tackle, just put video of Parker tackling, and there's no fear, and he plays that corner position with so much confidence, and
he also shows an understanding of the game because he's the first guy that knew the quarter ended and was trying to flip sides.
Yep, he's a really smart player.
So here we go, 2nd and 6, a long 6 for the Nepean Eagles. A critical point, start of the fourth quarter. Now these are only 10-minute quarters to it, Mosquito, so there's not a lot of time.
I mean, this coaching staff has been aggressive all night, so why not? Why would they change? I mean, I'm expecting something pretty fun right now.
We've got a 5-pack offensive format. That goes to wide receiver screen. They're very close to a first down. Maybe even they're going to measure it. And maybe a player or two down. It's going to be a first down.
Yeah.
We've got 2 players down for each team. So the training staff's going to come out for a sec and tend to the guys.
I think it might be London Perron for the Panthers, and I didn't get a number for the Eagles.
And you'd hate to see London going down at this critical point in the game. He's a leader on the defense. Obviously, we've talked about his return abilities, but very impressed with both defenses. I think these are the highlights here. We've talked about some of the big plays that we've seen on offense, but these defenses have kept their teams in and withstood some of the momentum shifts in the game so far. So that's what you want to see out of potentially championship teams is good defense.
Oh, you have to. You have to be able to stop offense. And, this game shows that, you can win games even only scoring 1 touchdown. But if you don't have a defense, it doesn't matter how many touchdowns you score because your defense is going to let in way more than that.
Absolutely. So the NCAFA season, week 7 here. This is actually the start of week 8 in the Mosquito and basically every level other than the midgets who started a week prior to everyone else. And the weather's starting to change, and we're starting to see these really good matchups like the one tonight. The Eagles out of the shotgun. He looks to his right, throws an incomplete pass. Nothing really open there. Parker and London in coverage there, so I guess London's okay. Maybe just knocked the wind out of himself or something.
Well, he would have had to come out.
That's what I thought.
For the trainer, so
maybe that's 38 actually. That's Ryan Schmidt. That's who I was referring to in coverage. So Ryan Schmidt doing a great job in that linebacking core for the Cumberland Panthers. He's actually named team captain this year too. So the Eagles go long, and they've got it! Getting a little hot and excited here on the mic, but what a completed pass.
Again, 20, 25 yards in the air. Their quarterback took a big shot after that. I think it looked like two Panthers, kind of sandwiched him, so he is kind of shaking his hand a little bit. But even under pressure, he got rid of the ball, made a beautiful pass, and, perfect completion.
I think that was Jet Rose on the completion, if I'm not mistaken. He's been playing football for 5 years already. Started at the mite level. He's always played offense. He's playing receiver this year. And little fun fact, he's a
jet sweep again.
Seattle Seahawks fan.
Yeah, we'll forgive him for that.
What's your team, Mike?
I don't talk about that. I'm a Lions fan.
Yeah,
and it's not pretty, Jess.
It hasn't been pretty since Saunders retired.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the Scott Mitchell, Barry Sanders Detroit Lion fan.
Yeah, I remember those days fondly. But critical point in the game, big completion that gave them about a 45-yard gain, and now they're looking at 2nd and 9. And just inside the red zone. Looks like the Panthers are going to send a player off.
Number 7, Prevost, the quarterback, is still shaking his hand. So obviously, he's toughing it out. And, like we said earlier, he's a former defensive player, so he's not coming out. And but, he's trying to get that feeling back because it's a nice night, but it is, getting chilly, getting on close to 9 o'clock. So
under center, Provost, he throws it out to an open receiver. That's Walker. Walker up for close to another first down. Sorry, that's Tanner Hudson Ward. Ward is the receiver there on that.
There's another player down for the Panthers.
So defense, I think, fortunate to have somebody kind of need a moment there because they're definitely wanting to slow this down right now.
Yeah.
Regroup.
Wonder if you got the signal from the sideline.
I wonder.
Go down. You're hurt.
We're talking all night about how well coached they are.
This is big though. I mean, this isn't the game. There's lots of time left, but I mean, 3rd down, ball on the 11-yard line. This is an important final play here to get either the first down. And they can still get a first down. The yard marker would be at the 6-yard line, or if they can punch it into the end zone. This is going to be a really important final, right? Not final, but this is going to be a really important play right here.
Definitely going to up the stakes if they can score. If they do score, the question is: do you go for 2? Do you kick? We don't know what kind of kicking situation they have on the Eagles, but they're going to be setting up. Setting up a final couple great 5 minutes here.
Yeah, it was Damon Clouden that went off under his own power, but he was holding his arm, so hopefully he can come back.
Here we go, Eagles, 3rd down. Running backs release out of the backfield. He lets go, throws it into coverage.
There's a flag. They have they have too many men, the Panthers. This is going to be a first down for the Eagles.
That's going to be a costly penalty. And even, they had time to set up the defense too, right? Where they had the player that was injured that had to come off. They had time to regroup, set it up.
I was looking at the injured player. I didn't see how many players came on for the Panthers, but obviously it was one too many.
And you can see Mike Schmidt just beside himself over there on that mistake. He knows how critical that is.
They had it stopped. It was an incomplete pass, and now it's first down Eagles on the 6-yard line.
Here we go. 7:39 left in the game. Panthers up by only 6 points, which we saw was a run by Marvin.
Yep.
In the, I believe,
the left
second
side.
quarter. Off the left side. Since then, no points.
It's been back and forth, and, teams have had their chances. No bigger chance than the Eagles have right here, but there has been no more scoring.
They're on the 5-yard line, the Eagles are, and still in that shotgun formation. They've got kind of a bunch set with 3 receivers to the left side, 1 ISO receiver down below. They're looking to the left. He's going to let it go on a corner route. Oh, and just incomplete.
What an effort, though. That he stretched out. I don't know if I can catch a number. They're pretty far away from us here, but what an unbelievable effort. He laid out his entire body to make that catch.
He was close. So we got
give credit to this receiver if I can see his number, but those white jerseys with a light green number
kind of scrunched
kind of
up
tough.
Too.
Yep.
But you saw that, just an unbelievable effort. The ball, I think, was just a tad overthrown, but he went up for it, climbed the ladder, and that would have been spectacular if he came down with that catch.
We have another player down for the Panthers, so that's what the delay is about.
So let's have a look at that play here, Mike.
I mean, they set it up perfectly. They're running a little crossing pattern, trying to get a receiver free, and
so the running back just releases there. They have that kind of bunch formation. They throw it up, and maybe if he led him a little bit more in the inside shoulder, he would have had a better chance of coming down with that. But nonetheless, a good effort by
great effort
by that offense. So we're back with live action here, and maybe the biggest play of the game for the Nepean Eagles and the Cumberland Panthers. The Panthers trying to punch it in here. Sorry, the Eagles, that is. Similar formation to the last play where they ran that corner. And Provo.
It's the exact same play.
Looks to pass, and this time he's got it. He's got it. Touchdown Eagles. It's a tie ball game. No flags down, and unbelievable.
They ran the exact same play. The formation was a little different. They didn't have a second back in the backfield. They split him out wide to the right side, but exact same route combination, and that time the quarterback put it right in his hands.
Here it is.
So
sometimes you just go back to what.
One of the reasons they went back to it is because that defensive player covering right there in the end zone had gone down and was injured and left the field, and so they had a backup in. And so they went right back to the same play.
So this, another important play. They're going to go for 2. Back to pass again. He looks for the running back who, just can't adjust and make the catch. So it's going to be a tie game, 6-6.
So that was the exact same play again. They ran, they had the corner route. They had 2 clearings, and they had the running back just running a little shallow out route, flare route, whatever you want to call it. And he just missed catching that in the end zone for 2.
So 6-6 is your score here, and we're seeing the Panthers cheer squad trying to get the fans back into it and try to just stem the momentum a little bit. They put on a great halftime show, as we saw. The Panthers always have a great cheer team. So do the Eagles, actually.
Yeah, the Panthers cheer team is really expanding over the last number of years. We've got 50 girls cheering at 2 different levels, or even 3 different levels, I think. And it's just all these clubs across the city, no matter what organization you're with, the goal of minor sports is participation.
Yeah.
And the Panthers have a girls touch team, a couple teams. They have almost 50 ladies playing that. There's almost 50 girls playing or cheering, and the Eagles are the same way.
It's great to see, and community involvement, getting everybody out to these games. This is a big play. It's going to be a kickoff, and the Eagles have it. So the Eagles convert the squib kick, I don't really know. It was hard to see if it was mishandled or if they just executed it perfectly. But nonetheless, the Eagles got the ball back with 7 minutes left, and they're fresh off a scoring drive. So they're looking to maybe, turn this game around. And the Panthers here, this is a big series for this defense. There needs somebody to step up here. And I think you're looking at that linebacker core to do it. We talked about Duran. We talked about Ryan Schmidt. This is the time now where these two gentlemen need to step up and make a statement.
Team captains and leaders and second-year Mosquitoes need to show that they're older and bigger, stronger, faster than these Eagles. 3
receivers to the Eagles. Right, he's going to let it go again. He's got a wide open receiver who catches it. He's up to the 20, the 10, stiff arms and stays in bounds for the touchdown.
Nope. They're saying he stepped out just at the 7-yard line.
Well, we're going to have a look at it, but I thought he had a clean line into the end zone there. Nonetheless, called out of bounds. But how did he get so wide open, Mike? I didn't see the
we're going to have to look at the replay.
Kind of a hard view there. We'll wait for the quick extra point here to see what they're going to do.
No, it wasn't a touchdown, right? So they got first down on the 6.
Right, my mistake. So here we go. Panthers faithful getting loud here. You hear the cowbells. You hear the cheering. It's a timeout for the Eagles. They want to make sure that they got the right play call here.
I think it was Panthers are getting charged with this one. Coach Schmidt wants to have the right play called.
And we're going to just go to the replay here, and I want to see how that receiver was so wide open. That
Number
was
27, Tanner.
Hudson Ward was wide open there, and the quarterback found him. So here we go. Let's have a look at this. So they run the slant underneath, which kind of draws maybe the corner in. He follows the slant. They run the corner out around him.
From the slot back.
He's wide
10
open.
or 27 and 25 play.
But I wonder if he stepped out.
Slot. You're saying he stepped out right there with a crowd, with that gentleman's toque.
It's hard to see.
Blocks our view.
Back to live action here. What a game we've got so far, Mike.
It's exciting. This is great. I'm glad I'm up here and not on the sidelines, Jesse.
I do miss coaching, though.
I do, too. I had the pleasure and the privilege of coaching our mites this year, our junior Panthers. My little guy started. He's 5.
Nice.
And I'm back in it now after a couple years off.
Here we go. Eagles out of the shotgun. 2 running backs to the left. And it's going to be a quarterback's sneak. And, what a defensive play there. He does manage to stay on his feet. He gets a great block. It's an illegal block, though.
That's why it was great.
He's fighting to get in. It's going to be all for naught. It's coming back. Maybe an ill-advised block. I think maybe he didn't have the numbers in the front facing him there. But
the receivers know, but it's hard when it's coming at you and you want to make a block for your quarterback.
That's it. You're trying to make a play for your buddy, and sometimes the angles don't work up, and before you know it, you're doing something wrong. But that will be an illegal block, so that'll send him back 5 yards. 6:16 left in the ball game, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you joined us online, we've got Mike Rouleau and Jesse Card up here calling the game with HESN Live. We've got NCAFA Mosquito football. Nepean Eagles taking on the Cumberland Panthers, 2 undefeated teams, ranked 1 and 2 respectively, and 2 teams that both have their eyes on a good postseason finish here, all culminating in November at the Sportsplex Minto Field. It's going to be a great championship weekend.
Yeah, I saw that this year. They moved it back to Minto with the new turf. It's going to be a great weekend.
And they go back to the corner. And I think that's a PI. If I've ever seen one, they don't call it. That's going to be a contentious call. But
Eagles coaches are pointing, and we can't hear them from here, but probably saying some things to the ref, hopefully respectfully. Telling him just, I think you missed it, sir.
We always hope it's respectful, but I do think they missed one on there. I think the ball was catchable. But nonetheless, that quarterback, Provost, he's kind of limping around out there. He's had a hard night. He's earned his paycheck here. He's out of the shotgun again, looking again to that same play. This time, they get it. Touchdown, Eagles. Unbelievable. They go back to that play again, and you've got to wonder, maybe, if the Panthers defense saw that maybe 3 or 4 out of the last 5 plays, they've got to get somebody over there.
They do, and kudos to the Eagles. This game can be way more complicated if the coaches make it complicated, but they know the play works. Just because it hadn't been completed a couple times, they saw that the players were wide open, and they caught it for the touchdown, both touchdowns, and go back to what works. The kids know it. They probably run that play 1,000 times in practice.
They probably scored on it a ton this season already, right? And you're right. I think sometimes coaches just overthink it a little bit too much, especially at this level. You've got that athlete-on-athlete situation at this level, and if you can get the ball to the guy that makes the catch 9 out of 10 times, he's probably going to make the catch.
Yep, the job of a coach is to put the players in a position to succeed. It's not to inflate your ego. It's not to show how much Madden you play. If you know something works and it's working, throw it. And these coaches are doing it. They're creative coaches on the Eagles sideline, but they also understand that we have something. We have a route combination or a one-on-one matchup with a player that is working. And so we're going to go back to it as much as we need to. And they've taken the lead in the last 4 minutes. They've taken the lead.
Like you said in the second quarter, the coach checked that play off and said, hey, let's come back to that. Not only do they come back to it, they come back to it 4 times in a row, and they score a touchdown, the go-ahead score. Now they get the ball back again on the kickoff. So really, things going wrong to worse for the Cumberland Panthers here in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it's starting to spiral. You've got the kids. You got number 9, Owen Mina, who he's holding his helmet and he's got his head down, coming off the sidelines. He knows it was that ball was his and he should have corralled it. But those coaches will settle them down, and it's only one score.
There's still lots of time.
Lots of time.
Yeah, in Mosquito football, 5 minutes is an eternity. And
especially against a team like the Eagles who throw the ball a lot, because it's going to stop the clock every play. So we'll see if the Eagles decide that it's time to start running the ball and let the clock keep running.
So here they go, first down again for the Eagles. Passing situation again. They're looking over the middle. He did have the receiver, but he was in a lot of traffic there. I believe London Perron had the coverage.
Reed Provost took another shot. He's on his knee. He's down. He's gonna get the trainer out here, and he's gonna have to come out. That's gonna be a big blow to the Eagles. They're gonna have to put a backup quarterback in.
Well, let's see what they have. If they have to move a running back up to quarterback, or we'll see what happens here, like you said. But really, that quarterback is a big part of that Eagles offense. I think they've run maybe a handful of times, right? And they've run a reverse 2 out of those times. So this passing game, there's no surprises for teams that face this Eagles Mosquito team. Like, they're passing, and you better get your guys back. The Panthers, fell victim to that. Maybe not giving enough respect over on that side with the 3 receiver bunch. That leads to nearly 14 points there for the Eagles in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, we'll see what kind of coaching they've done in their preparation for this game and for their season. How much time and effort and snaps they gave to a backup quarterback, or maybe this is now the time where they just say, okay, we're going to hand the ball off, and even if they hand the ball off on those jet sweeps, they're going to be putting the ball in their athletes' hands, right?
So Provo definitely, if he doesn't come back, he sure earned his keep on this team this evening, and he's put his team in a good position here to come away with the W. 5:26 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it looks like they were working on his leg, and this is that's the medical staff Tyke and Mosquito way of getting somebody off the field. These kids are still small enough that a big coach can come and just pick them right up.
Yeah, certainly want to check them out first before you do that, but they did. And we've got a new quarterback in here for the Eagles on 2nd and 10. He's under center, and he's just going to hand the ball off simply. And that dive play goes for about 2.5 yards. So the Eagles.
So it looks like Matthew Larkin, number 31, is their backup quarterback.
So Larkin's
Usually plays wide receiver.
Larkin's taking the reins here. A lot of pressure for a quarterback to have to be thrown into action here and called upon to maybe take this game home.
And this is where you put him in a position to succeed. Don't put too much on him.
Right.
But at the same time, you got to keep running your offense. And
That's right.
this is obviously third down now, punting situation.
They're going to get a good punt off. Could this be the moment we've been waiting for? London with the ball. There's a flag on the field, but he gets some yardage there before going down. But, I mean, that's the kind of moment we've been looking for, and what a time that would have been to have him break one.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to get a hold on the Panthers. That's going to back them up a little bit, but at least they got the ball back with no more damage, and now it's their turn to go back to work on offense.
So the score is 12-6 for the Eagles. And what a game we've got here tonight, Mike. This is going to come right down to the wire, and very interested to see what happens to the Eagles quarterback there, Reed Provo, because he might be needed still in this game. Hope he's all right. But the Panthers will have the ball. There's a hold that shaves a couple yards off of their return there, but they're going to start from about the 20-yard line here. 4:20 left in the ball game. 3 receivers to the strong side, and that's going to be number 15 that just takes it himself. And a really good gain there. Once again, fighting for every last yard. The one thing you got to do is protect the ball when you're fighting for those extra yards. So many times you can see that ball gets stripped in situations like that. So ball security for the Panthers, I think, is paramount here.
Yeah, they moved Shiloh McKendy to quarterback, and he's used to taking snaps. Like I said before, he was the quarterback of the Tyke team last year that won the A-Cup. So, who knows why? Maybe, I don't know if Tristan's hurt, or maybe they just don't want to risk handoffs. Maybe just have Shiloh take the ball and go. But whatever the rationale and the reasoning is from Coach Perham, they obviously had a great gain on the first down.
We did see a bobbled snap in the first quarter, so you're quite right. That could be some of the thinking there. Shiloh takes it himself, this time to the left. Not much doing there. He's going to set up a 2nd and 7.
We'll see if they go back right. Obviously, they've had a lot of success the last couple plays going right.
But like you said, Mike, I don't think they want to let off the gas here. They need a score, and the time is ticking away here on the Cumberland Panthers. The Eagles lost their quarterback, so maybe their scoring capabilities are hindered quite a bit here. It's going to be a straight handoff. He bounces around trying to find some daylight, but he's only going to gain maybe 3 yards on that run.
Big decision here. I mean, less than 3 minutes to go, only 1 timeout, and they still got to get 5 yards. And Coach Schmidt's telling them to call a play and go for it. So the offense is staying on the field.
On the flip side, though, you've got a defense that hasn't let up a point until tonight. So if they do need to rely on their defense to come up with another stop, they could do that. But with 3rd and only 5 to go, maybe this is the time to take the chance. 3rd and 5 for the Panthers. They'll need a score to tie this game. And pressure, he avoids it, and he's going to let it rip downfield. It's going to be knocked down. Another wise defensive play, knocking it down and not intercepting it. They'll get the ball 25 yards further up the field because of that knockdown.
Yeah, so impressed with these kids on both sides. Their football knowledge. They understand down and distance. They understand situational football, and that easily could have been. The kid could have wanted an interception, right? We play DB. What do you play DB for? To get interceptions when the ball's in the air, and nope, just knock it right down and let's move our offense back on the field. Like you said, 25 yards further up the field.
Well, it's a good thing we don't keep stats at the Mosquito level, because maybe that we'll start seeing some more picks on third down if we do. But we don't. And here we go. The Eagles got the ball back. And maybe they're just looking to chew some time and convert a few first downs. There's a bit of a delay in the game here. The refs are sorting it out. Looks like somebody came on late for the Panthers. We've seen them have 13 men on the field one time there at a crucial point. So this defense looking to really step up here in the fourth quarter to put their team in a position, get the ball back to the offense, give them at least the opportunity of tying this game up.
So I think the Panthers are being charged with their last timeout. We'll have to wait and see what the official...
Ron Gilboa's out there talking to the ref. It's a timeout, so he's going to come out and talk to his team. Mike Schmidt's coming out to gather his defense.
Yeah, Coach Schmidt's the head coach and also the defensive coordinator of this Panthers team, so he's out to talk to his team on this timeout.
So an interesting fact about the Eagles head coach. This is Gilboa, Ron. He's been coaching for 16 years in the Redskins-Eagles organization. Really dedicated community leader there, I'd say. But this is his first year as a head coach. So, having a very inexperienced team, a lot of players that have never played the sport before. They're 5-0, and he's the first time he's a head coach. So maybe the coach is kind of mirroring the team a little bit. They've got a little bit of an identity, and sometimes that can work wonders for a team.
Yeah, they could also be a little just green and not really understanding, what's going on. The impact or the monumental,
the levity of
levity,
it all.
being 5-0 and at this, playing a high level of football at this level. But if he's been around for that long, I think he's probably, hopefully for him, had a few successful seasons under his belt and is able to pass on that knowledge to these kids.
So relief quarterback under center, throws it out to the screen. He's looking to cut back in, but then goes north up the field wisely and brings it up probably maybe a yard short of the first down. Not the prettiest ball, but
I like the Eagles.
A completion nonetheless.
I like them being who they are, right? You back up quarterback in, still throwing the ball around. Their offense is predicated on that. They don't necessarily put their best athletes at running back. They put their best athletes at the receiver position and get the ball to them quick and let them do something with it up the field. There were two big missed tackles by the Panthers in the backfield, and all of a sudden, 7 yards later.
2nd and 4, they're going to hand off. Absolutely swallowed up by the D-line. It's number 50 in there, number 36. Ryan Schmidt in there on the tackle. Also, Diego Santana is in there on the gang tackle as well. And, I think that's another thing we should talk about successful teams. If you do get up with your starters, if you can rotate more guys in and get more experience to some other people at the quarterback, running back positions. Perrant has got the ball, and he's got some space. He's running up the sideline. He's got some room.
He's gone, Jesse.
And he's just past the last defender, and no flags on the field. London Perrant. We've been calling it all night and waiting for it. No bigger time in the game for him to break one on the punt return.
So I want to call myself a little forecasting expert, but
Tony Romo.
Yeah, it didn't look like they had actually set up what I was expecting them to set up, which was a wall right to that side. But they've been running it all year. But and I called it in the pregame. I said that's something you're going to want to look for. Coach Schmidt, I know him, and he loves his special teams. And it turned into one heck of a play for the Panthers.
So let's have a quick look at this before we get back to live action. It's a clean punt.
They are set up. They are set up for wall right. They've got a couple guys looking to make those blocks. And there he goes.
And listen, this last guy just barely shoelaced him. But the speed is just too much of London Perrant. He gets his team back into this game at the right time.
And so interesting, the Panthers have decided to run a play from scrimmage.
And look for that toss right or toss left. I'm going left. Procedure. But they're looking for a toss right. What a game we've got here at Millennium Field. We've got the beautiful new facility that came in. Mike, how big has this been for football in the East End?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, it's given not only the Panthers, but the Bengals who play here from Orleans. They play their home games here as well. An elite facility to just pack on a Wednesday night, and gives these kids such an opportunity to play under the lights on a turf field with a scoreboard like this, and these stands and a press box so that we can have guys like you come out and broadcast.
It's a toss right, like we saw the previous play. He's going to get wrestled down. It's going to remain 12-12 here. Only a minute 39 left. We got a tie ball game. And, this kickoff's going to be an important one. We've already seen the Eagles recover two.
The Panthers recovered one earlier.
So look for maybe the onside kick. Hopefully get a lucky bounce. Get the ball back to your offense. But unbelievable finish to this game. We expected nothing less, really.
You got the top two teams.
Top two teams.
I mean, it's tied with a minute 39 to go. That's what the two best teams in a division, the game should be.
We've got the facility. We've got it broadcast. We've got, I'm really curious to see the numbers. Their podcasts at HESN talking about the Mosquito and Pee Wee and Bantam levels and midget and some of the extracurricular happenings of Ottawa football are getting about 10,000 people each episode, reaching about 2,000 or 3,000 views. Football seems to be ready to take the next step in Ottawa, I believe. And when you see the product that we are putting on the field at the Mosquito level with these two teams, and maybe the Dome coming to this field and maybe ramping up the off-season touch, getting more kids into the game, we're in a good spot here for football in the nation's capital. The Eagles recover the ball safely, so that will bring out the Eagles offense, but they're definitely hamstringed by the fact that their starting star quarterback has had to take a step out. We'll see if he's able to return here for this series. Yeah. Otherwise, we might see a little bit of a...
I think somebody's number 7's putting his helmet back on. Here he comes.
Unbelievable. Here he comes. Number 7 returns to his team to see out the last minute and a half of the game. And if I was the defensive back and the safety here, I'd be having sweaty palms here. Okay.
So the defensive back or the safety, the halfback on that side, London Perron, and number 12, Tyrell Wallace.
But number 9, Nathan Curry, is down isolated at the bottom of the screen. He's running the slant. Quarterback gets outside the pocket. He's going to be brought down at the line of scrimmage, and what a defensive tackle in the open field by number 50, and he gives you a little how's it going to the crowd.
I love the enthusiasm. I love he sees that probably on Saturdays and Sundays when he watches film, but at this age, you got to watch some of that stuff.
That's Diego Espinoza Santana. What a great name, too.
Love the energy, but you got to calm that down, because wouldn't the worst thing in the world be for that little orange flag to come out because you were celebrating too much?
You see the crowd is getting into it here at Millennium. We've got a 2nd and 10 for the Eagles. Their quarterback's back, I formation. He's under center, and they've got a lot of defenders over there covering that number 27. But the Eagles run that wide receiver screen, and they're able to get a first down again. So
chess match, right? So the Panthers defensive coaches have told their DBs and their safeties to back up because we don't want to give out that corner again. Well, you back up. You are now given an opportunity to run that little hitch, and that little hitch to the wide receiver, and wide open. And what it did is, it didn't go for a touchdown, but it allowed him to get 7, 8, 9 yards, make the first down, because all the Panthers had to come and converge to make the tackle instead of being close to the line of scrimmage.
Well, as a successful OC yourself, Mike, you can finish the line. Take what they
give you. I mean, if they're going to back up, then I'm going to throw short. If they're going to come close to me, I'm going to throw deep. And the offensive coordinator, Jason Hudson, for the Eagles is on the ball. He is doing exactly what a coach at this level should be doing. He's putting his players in a position to succeed by not having all kinds of ego and just giving the quarterback plays that he knows they can run, not trying to come up with stuff on the fly. Hitch, screen, corner. That's what they're looking to run.
12-12, tie ball game, 1 minute left. Mosquito, we got Panthers, we got Eagles, and we've got that isolated receiver down to the bottom of the screen. He's going up top, though. A little bit of contact, probably not enough to draw a flag, and I think that's a good no call.
Yeah, I agree with that one. We saw one earlier that we both agreed probably, could have, should have been called, but I think that one they were both looking for the ball, and they were both kind of fighting to go towards the ball, so no call on that one.
Inconsequential. But, I'm looking at these Eagles formations, and you got to get nervous because they've got this receiver that they isolated down there. He's been running 3-yard slants the whole day, but maybe he runs a little bit of a slant and go, and it's all she wrote for the Panthers.
And, again, matchups. He's a big receiver, so they've got him now on the boundary on the boundary side. They haven't isolated him down here this play, but I can see them easily going back to that.
That's Nathan Curry there. So not much time for the quarterback. He loses the ball. He's just going to jump on it.
Yeah, I think he got it back.
But a good defensive play at a great time for the Panthers. 66 of the Panthers. He's Corey Sheridan on the D-line. I think we go to OT in Mosquito if it is a tie after the zeros come up on the clock. But right now, we still got 35 seconds and counting. The Eagles on third down and about 15. Why not?
What do we think's coming, Jess?
Well, I'd be surprised if it wasn't a corner, but it's over the top. It's intercepted. Intercepted over the middle. He might have enough to go the whole way. He's going to try to be caught. He will be caught. Oh, he gets loose. Unbelievable. Finally ripped out of bounds. But 11.5 seconds left. That's Provo, who throws over the middle, intercepted.
We said that play was coming. We said that the backside slant was going to be there. Isolated to number 18. And he just put it into a Panther's hand. Just didn't hit his receiver across the middle.
Let's have a look at that one, Mike. What a critical play on defense.
He's nice and calm in the pocket. And I think he has that same corner route that we've been talking about all night.
There's a timeout on the field, so we've got time. He throws it over, a little bit overthrown, and a solid catch. And he just takes it. I thought he got loose there at the end. He's running down the sideline, shakes off 2 defenders here. Maybe you want to see a bit of an effort by the quarterback to make the tackle there, but especially for a guy that has played defense.
I was a little worried that Ashton was going to keep fighting for yards, and all of a sudden the clock was going to run out on him.
That's true. That could have been another outcome. Would have been a tie right away. But you can't ask for a better game here.
It's been fantastic.
We've had some touchdowns, running touchdowns, passing touchdowns,
trick
big
plays,
interceptions, trick plays. But we're still tied 12-12 here, and the Panthers will start with the ball deep in the Eagles' territory. 11.5 seconds left on the clock. Look for that toss. No, they're going to come out and pass. A little bit overthrown. And, I think as a defense here, it's also important that you don't take an unnecessary roughness or a stupid play like hitting the quarterback late after he releases the ball. That would just be a backbreaker at this point. So
games can't end under a defensive penalty, right? So with 7 seconds left, if there's a silly play by the defense, you don't want to give them one more try.
A little bit of a different formation with a little bit of a wing back there. They're going to go for a reverse off of the sweep. He's got some room. I don't think he's going to score, though, but zeros on the clock, and he's wrapped up. And we've got a tie ball game at the end. We're going to be going into extra innings, I think.
I'll be honest, I'm I've been out of it for a couple years. I can't remember the overtime rules.
Oh, the whole teams are coming
Yeah,
out
I'm
here.
not sure there is overtime.
So this might be a tie, ladies and gentlemen. And
It is.
this
The coaches are smiling and laughing at each other, and
is kind of like one of those boxing matches that go the distance and then they give each other a big hug at the end of it.
Everybody's clapping. Players are clapping. Coaches are clapping. Fans are clapping. What a game. I have a feeling these two teams will be seeing each other again in the playoffs.
So the question becomes, based on this year's playoff format, and I don't know for sure, but the question now remains, these teams will face each other again, but will it be in the semifinal or, and listen, we're giving them credit. There's lots of teams in that division, and
Lots of football left.
Anything can happen. We know that. But if they did advance into the semifinals, would they face each other then, or in the possible A-Cup championship?
Yeah, I can't. I don't know how many teams are in this division, so I think that also will play a factor in it. But they don't go east-west anymore. In NCAFA, it's just 1 to 8, and so if they both finish 1-2, they will inevitably only be able to meet each other in the finals.
Well, we look at our Week 7 power rankings here. We had Cumberland 1, Eagles 2. They come out with a tie tonight in a 12-12 tie. Power rankings from 1 and 2 probably will not change because of this, but this is setting up some major hype moving forward.
Oh yeah, I mean the rest of their season, they know what to expect now. They know that they've probably seen each other's entire playbook on offense and defense. The coaches are going to go back and watch the film and come out and they both have another game. I know the Panthers play next Wednesday as well. I'm not sure when the Eagles. I think they play Saturday. This coming Saturday. So they've got some work to do. But this is going to be a really exciting finish to the Mosquito level.
Well, we're going to try to go down and get a quick post-game interview with a few of these coaches and players. But it's been a fantastic game. We couldn't have asked for more. And we will take a short break and talk to some of the teams, some of the members here, and see what their game reflections are.
Perfect.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't go away just yet. As we're putting the headsets away, we see a few league officials, Mark Ouellette, Steve Dean, the president, the two coaching staffs are out there shaking hands. It looks like there's a discussion being had there about if they're going to go to overtime. I don't think they are. Mark's given the signal no. They decided to go with the tie. There are restrictions on how long we can stay out here, and I kind of like it ending the way it has, Mike.
Yeah, I was just trying to look up on the in the league rules, but it's these are also 10 and 11-year-olds, and we're pushing 9:30 and
Right.
on a school night. So I think probably whatever the actual rule is, I think both coaches probably did a handshake. Let's call it a tie and go home.
Begrudgingly.
Yeah,
no
probably.
doubt.
I mean, everybody probably wants to keep playing. These kids will play all night if we let them. But it was one heck of a game, it's not probably really going to affect the standings. So they probably just said it's time to go.
Right, and I think a good call. On behalf of the whole HESN crew, I'm Jesse Card, producer Steve, and Mike Rouleau. Thank you for joining us on the broadcast. You were great. I want to thank our everyone watching online, tuning in to HESN Live for this Mosquito matchup. We will have a podcast at the end of the week. We've got a lot to talk about, and then we'll be back with a couple more weeks before the postseason. Good night, and we'll see everyone soon.
For its support of